Hi everyone, welcome to my channel Surviving My Cancer. My name is Tiffany and this is my third video. So today I'll be talking about receiving a breast cancer diagnosis. This will be a two-part video. Today's part will be preparing and the second part will be what to expect as far as tests and everything else like that. So very briefly, I'm a 48-year-old mum and wife. I live in Brisbane, Australia. I am stage 4 triple negative breast cancer, 5 years clear. So I'm hoping to share everything I've learned along the way with you guys, and I post a video at the moment a couple of times a week. So please make sure you subscribe using the button down below and also click the bell icon so that you receive notifications as I upload new videos. So receiving a diagnosis of breast cancer, wow, now this is a really scary thing, obviously. And one thing to remember, ladies, with breast cancer, there is a very high survival rate if it's detected early. So I guess the important thing is don't panic. If you have received a diagnosis of breast cancer, just try and keep calm until you know more information and you know exactly what you're in store for, because it could be a minor breast cancer, it could be something like stage 1. Now, no breast cancer is good, but if you're going to get breast cancer, stage 1 is probably the one you want to get. So don't panic, just try and stay calm, keep everything in perspective, and get your mindset ready for everything coming up, because there's going to be a lot of tests and things like that coming. Another important thing I would recommend is finding a buddy or a family member or a close friend to go along to appointments with you. I personally didn't, but I mean, I'm a bit of a hard case perhaps when it came to this. I was pretty tough through the whole thing. It didn't worry me going off to appointments by myself. I went off to surgeries by myself. I mean, my husband would drop me at the door because I had young little kids, and I'd quite happily go in. But I mean, that's not everybody. Some people find that you really want and need that support, and it is an important thing. So get yourself somebody that can come along with you and just be present. It's also handy at appointments to have someone with you, just purely to remember what was said. I mean, they rattle on with a lot of information, and a lot of it can just, in the moment when you're stressed and you're worried and you just don't take it in, and you leave and don't remember anything that's been said. So having someone with you is very handy for that perspective anyway, but also the emotional support. So I think that's probably something worth considering. So the next thing you'll have to consider is who to tell and when. Well, you want to tell your very close family members, obviously, parents, spouse. If you have older children, you'll want to tell them how much you disclose. That's a personal thing. I had 2 very young children when this happened. My little boy was only 5 months old when I was first diagnosed. My little girl was 4 years old. She was aware that I was very sick, in as far as I was laying on the couch and couldn't really move after the chemo. It was so severe. But she had no idea back then what cancer was or anything else like that. So you don't want to be really disclosing too much information that can frighten them. I'm a big believer on, information as required, if required. So that's something you may want to consider as well. There's no need worrying them unnecessarily. You certainly don't, even if it's quite a severe diagnosis or prognosis, you certainly don't want to be rushing out there telling your children you've got 3 months to live. Look at me, I'm a stage 4 survivor, I'm 5 years clear, I shouldn't be here now. And had I told my children at the time that I had a year to live, they would have been going through years and years of hell unnecessarily, and it never came to pass. I'm here and I'm absolutely fine. So, just tell them just what they need to know. I wouldn't even use the cancer word personally, and no need to scare anyone unnecessarily. Now, I of course told close family members. I've been very open with this from day one, so I really didn't mind talking about it with anyone. It didn't worry me in the slightest. But some of you are more private and you may want to keep that to yourself for a little while. they don't mean to, but you can get a lot of negative comments out there that things just come out the wrong way. And it can be pretty bad when you get a diagnosis like that and people accidentally say the wrong thing. So keeping it close until you know a little bit more information and what is happening can probably sometimes be a good idea. This is something that I think is one of the most important things, and do it from day one. That is, keep a diary. As time goes on, you'll want to look back just for your reference and information, if nothing else. You'll want to know dates of your appointments, what type of appointments, what you were feeling, what you were going through, pain levels, anything like this. You need to keep a diary. So it's not just something for personal feelings, it's a full documentation of everything that you're going through. You need to write down every single thing that happens. You will need this later on. You always have to fill out forms of some kind with this type of thing, and you need that information anyway, and it's very, very difficult to look it up if you haven't documented it and don't have something written down. So I really, really would go and buy yourself a diary. Buy something pretty that inspires you to write in it, and write down every single thing that you do, from your diet, from supplements you're taking, any research you do. Write down everything, and this will become your Bible over the next few years. Depending on what's happening, you will need to go back and look over that for sure. You also need to make sure you have a medical team that you are really comfortable with and that you trust. Find your GP or general practitioner that you get along with, because you're going to be working very closely with these people for quite a while. So make sure that you do trust everything that they're saying, and you do need to feel comfortable with them. You can't go and deal with someone when you just don't find you get along with them. That's very difficult. You don't need any added stress at this point. You're going through enough. Don't ever, ever, ever be afraid to seek a second opinion. I know it can feel sort of a little bit embarrassing perhaps to tell your GP or to tell your oncologist that you want a second opinion. They're not going to take it personally. They really don't care. At the end of the day, they're just doing a job. You've got to go in there and be really tough and just do what you think is right. If you feel like something isn't what you want, just tell them straight out, that's not what I want, and be up for a little bit of a fight if necessary. But you've got to be proactive in your own treatment and in your own journey. So, don't be afraid to do that. Go along, get a second opinion. When I was first diagnosed, I went and had a whole lot of scans done. When I found the lump, they came back clear. Now, had my GP not had intuition going on there and sent me for a second opinion, we would never have found it, and right now I wouldn't be here. So you must seek second opinions. Follow your intuition. It's really, really important. You will know, and what you feel is pretty much always right. So second opinions, no problem at all. If you feel like you need one, be upfront, be direct, because this is your life you're talking about. You can't afford to mess around here or worry about people's feelings. You've got to do what's best for you. So I wouldn't hesitate in recommending second opinions if you feel they're necessary. Questions. Now, you need to ask questions no matter how silly you think they are, or how minuscule or unimportant. You need to ask questions if you have things that you don't understand. It's important you understand absolutely everything going forward. Really important. So always ask questions. Make sure you're very clear. Write lists when you go to appointments. Now, in part 2 of this video, what to expect, I will be delving further into the tests, what happens at the tests, what questions to ask, all sorts of things like this. But you do need to make sure you're asking questions, and do take a list with you. Write it all down in your diary and make sure that you've got everything handy all the time, so you're prepared to ask anything you need to in any given moment. So another really important thing, I think, is research, and that is research done by yourself so that you are knowledgeable on the treatment that they're recommending for you, what's going to happen, the whole process. I spent, and still do, spend many, many hours looking up every aspect of breast cancer, and specifically triple negative breast cancer, which is what I have. You just want to know all the latest things, what people that are in remission have done, how they've achieved it. I read everything. Some stories are inspirational, some stories are not inspirational, but I'll take it all on. And you know, that's really important. Ask your questions, do your research, be proactive. And by being proactive, I mean have an opinion, have a plan yourself for how you would like your treatment to go ahead. And don't just sit there and blindly let them recommend what they want to do. Make sure that you are involved. That's where I came up with my supplement list, which I'm going to share with you guys, everything I took along my journey and you know, on the way to becoming clear. I found all of that, put it together based on intuition, and I came up with this list, and I felt really good about it and decided to take this list of supplements. But I did that through research. So do your research, find out everything you can, ask any questions, and be prepared. Write everything in your diary, everything you're looking up, document if it's important to you, and make sure that you're up to date on everything you need to know yourself. Finally, don't be afraid to ask for help. Now, help can come in many forms. Help can be just somebody sitting there listening to you. Help can be someone giving you a hug. Help can be somebody cooking some meals for your family when you're going through chemo so you don't have to cook. I mean, there's many different things that can go towards help. So if you need help, or if you feel like you need support in any way, do ask. People do not mind helping. In most cases, when somebody close to them is diagnosed with cancer, people really want an opportunity to assist and do something for you in any way they can, and they just don't know what to do. You know, you feel very awkward if someone is going through that. It's hard, and it's very hard to understand, I think, if you're not the person going through it. So just straight out ask for what you need. Tell people what you need. If they're saying things to you that are upsetting you, tell them diplomatically that they're saying things that are upsetting you. You know, don't be afraid to communicate with people, because people aren't mind readers. They don't know what you want or what you need. You're going to have to find out a way to communicate that and let them know, and that's an important thing, I think. So yeah, do not be afraid to ask for help in any way. Everyone has different ways of dealing with their breast cancer diagnosis. I would say, you know, it's a personal thing. I mean, no one can tell you what to do or how to react. There's going to be a lot of emotion, but the important thing is, you know, lean on the people close to you. Find the support that you need. There are groups that you can go to where women in your situation can sit and speak, whether that be in person or whether that be even on the internet. There's Facebook groups. There's all kinds of support out there that you may want to go and you know, talk to people that can offer advice and really understand, because no matter how much your family and friends love you and everything, they do not understand what you're going through. They don't know what you're feeling or what you're thinking going through that. There's thousands and thousands and thousands of people getting through this and that are just fine. I'm stage 4 and I'm just fine, you know, so don't panic. Just try and stay calm and stay focused. Write yourself out a plan. Keep a list of what you would like to do to keep your mind focused and steady, and you know, take it from there. So keep an eye out for video 2, which I'll be uploading shortly. And the second part will be a breast cancer diagnosis, what to expect. And I'll be going into the actual process, like the tests involved, biopsies, surgeries, you know, anything like that, and going into what to expect from that and what you're in store for. So please go down and subscribe, hit the bell icon, and you'll receive notifications as my videos are uploaded. Please like, and also I'd love to hear from you if you put a comment down below. I will answer comments, and thanks again for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.